to Ukraine. Ukraine has fought the Russian invaders for nearly 5 months. It's been an inspiring struggle, an heroic struggle, but now there are claims of treason, security officials collaborating with the Russians. President Volodymyr Zelensky has suspended Ukraine's top prosecutor and the head of state security, not because they themselves were spies or collaborators, but because more than 60 of their employees were allegedly working against Ukraine in Russian-occupied territory. Gone is domestic security chief Ivan Bakanov, a childhood friend of Zelensky, and Prosecutor General Irina Venediktova, who leads the effort to prosecute Russian war crimes. And on Sunday, the former head of the Ukrainian Security Bureau in Crimea was arrested in the street for allegedly passing state secrets to the Russians. Joining me from Ukraine is Professor Inna Sovsun, who's also an MP in one of Ukraine's political parties, the anti-corruption pro-Western party called Holos. Inna Sovsun, thank you so much indeed for your time. What is behind these arrests and suspensions?
Well, from what we know so far is that there have been suspicions that there were Russian infiltrators inside the security service. Those were the rumors circulating for quite some time. We did realize that Russia did pay off many people in order to infiltrate Ukrainian authorities, including the security service. And it's about time that we recognize there is a problem and we start speaking about that publicly so that we can actually deal with the problem. The major question right now is who will be appointed the new head of the security service, and that is the major issue that is being debated in the parliament. And I think that is the decision that we are all waiting from the president right now, whom he will suggest will clear up the whole mess with the infiltrators in the security services.
Now, a lot of people were wondering, and I believe the president was one of them, why the Russians were able to advance at first relatively easily from the south, from Crimea, but nowhere else. They were fought bitterly everywhere else. Is that what led to suspicions that Ukrainian officials in the south were helping Russia?
That was the question that we discussed from the very early days of the full-scale invasion. I'll be honest with you, there were questions about whether there have been treason committed in the south. But on the other hand, we also realized that there is a strategic reason why they could have invaded so easily from the south, being the militarization of Crimea. They have been using Crimea to build up their military might. There was very little oversight about what is happening there. So they simply collected so much forces down there on the Ukrainian territory, in the Ukrainian sovereign territory, that it was easier for them to invade from the south. But the question about potential treason, that was being discussed again from the very early days from February. I think we'll still learn more about how that has happened. But right now, what is important is to ensure that there are no more leaks, that there is no more treason committed on the side of the Ukrainian officials, particularly in the security forces.
Now, Inna Sovsun, you would know there are, unfortunately, also, some pro-Russian, pro-Putin critics, people who are determined to see your president as a tyrant himself. Now, you're not of his political party. You're able to give us a different, more independent view. Is he, as they would argue, some are arguing, shoring up his power through purges? In March, for instance, he banned 11 political parties like the Socialists for having ties with Russia. Now he's got these arrests, these suspensions. Is there any reason for critics of Ukraine to think that the president is actually playing politics here?
Well, as a representative of the opposition political party, we indeed do not agree with the president on several issues, but not on the issues regarding national security. We do believe that we recognize the main threats to the national security in the same manner. Those are being Russian forces, Russian army over here in Ukraine, and then pro-Russian political forces. I do agree with the decision of the president to ban the functioning of the pro-Russian political parties over here. However, I believe that he doesn't go far enough. For instance, he still refuses to forbid the functioning of the Russian Orthodox Church, which is basically the agency of the KGB functioning here in Ukraine. That is actually something where I believe he doesn't go far enough. I also agree with his decision to close down the pro-Russian media channels, which was the right way to go. And again, we have seen many European countries doing the same with forbidding the function of the Russian TV channels, Russia Today. So there are issues we disagree on. We believe that democracy needs to be preserved, debate in the parliament needs to be preserved. But I believe that we recognize the threats to the national security in the same manner, and that is what we all need to focus on right now, because right now it's a matter of mere survival for all of us, and we need to be together in order to fight against the threats that Russia is posing to all of us. But then, of course, we will have our disagreements, and we will make sure that Ukraine comes out of this war as a flourishing democracy, not as a one single-party state.
Professor Inna Sovsun, you've always been generous with your time. Thank you so much indeed for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. And all the best in this terrible life and death struggle your country is in.